Hi everyone, I'm Megan and this is Beguiled by Books, a community of book lovers and word nerds. Today I'm sharing my mid-year reading wrap up with my favorite books that I have read so far in 2025. Let's get started. At the time of filming this, I have read 57 books so far in 2025, which is a little over halfway to my 100 book reading goal for this year. And these 11 books, well, 10 books plus a series, are some of my favorites that I have read so far in 2025. I would love to know what some of your favorites are, so go ahead and drop me a comment as soon as you think of your favorite. I really want to know, so maybe I could squeeze it in 2025. The Teller of Small Fortunes was a cozy, sweet, short little fantasy novel that I read earlier in 2025, and it's just so delightful. It's heartwarming, it's cozy, it's low stakes, but it is fantasy, and it's about a fortune teller who can accurately predict big fortunes, but doesn't because she doesn't always want to be right about them. So she sticks to the small kind of sideshow type fortunes, and what ensues is just delightful and sweet and full of found family. You'll love this book. A nonfiction book that I absolutely loved so far in 2025 is From Here to Eternity. This book surprised me because it's all about death, which I did know going into it. But what surprised me was how beautifully written a book about death can be. While the author is a mortician and owns a funeral home in the West Coast, I was delighted by the prose and by the elegance of the writing relating to death. I loved how the author really took different cultures' ideas of what death is and how dead bodies are dealt with and compared it to traditional American style and North American style um, rituals. It was a really fascinating tale, and I loved how it explored different cultures all over the world. So, really cool book, very informative, especially if you're one of those people that is not afraid to confront your own mortality. A book I loved and will absolutely continue to read about is Annie Bot. Annie is an android who was purchased by a guy to be his live-in girlfriend, cook, cleaner, domestic person. Kind of icky. And then as Annie gets upgraded, she becomes more and more sentient. And what happens when Annie really starts thinking for herself? It is a fascinating book about feminism, about empowerment, about patriarchy, and gender dynamics. Highly, highly recommend this book. A delightful little mystery novel that I read earlier in the year is Killers of a Certain Age. And this is just a fun book and a fun story. Four 60-year-old-ish assassins are trying to retire and get pulled into one last job when they become the targets of their former company's mission. So, what happens when they go rogue? What happens when they uncover this plot against them and how they go about working together kind of on one last mission after they've attempted to retire. Delightful read. I read it super fast. It's just a perfect beach read. You will absolutely adore this book if you're looking for more of a cozy mystery kind of thing. In 2025, I read the book Oathbound by Tracy Deonn. Now, this is the third of a series, but it's the best of the series in my opinion so far. And I can't wait for the other books to come out. It was so much fun. I am completely enamored with Bree Matthews, and the whole magic system King Arthur connection is so fascinating and so neat. And I love how Tracy Deonn really has made it her own and really revamped the King Arthur legends of olden times for today. Absolutely delightful book. Oathbound, like I said, is the best in the series so far. It lives rent-free in my head, and I cannot wait for the next books to come out. A book I read in 2025 that absolutely melted my heart is Shart Heart. And this book is a love story, and it's not just about romantic love, it's about parent-child love, it's about friendship, it's about romantic love as well. And it's kind of a metaphor for what I would say is like a terminal illness type thing, something out of your control that you just can't change. And it's beautifully written. It is not an overwhelming amount of information, but you immediately care about the characters and want what's best for them. And following the journey for these characters is heartwarming and heartbreaking in all the best ways. So Shark Heart is probably going to be one of my top favorite books of 2025. It's going to be hard to beat it, but it is absolutely up there for the first half of the year, too. A fun nonfiction book that absolutely makes the list is a book called Says Who. Now, this book is a usage guide for language. Now, that might sound super nerdy, but hey, it's a community of word nerds, right? This book is so much fun. I love the author's take on language, and she talks about not just words, but pronunciation and grammar and syntax and punctuation, all of those different elements, and how language is evolving over time. And she kind of places little bets throughout the story and tells you what she thinks will happen with certain things. Will the semicolon die? Will people start pronouncing the T in often eventually again? Who knows? It's a really fun book. It's very approachable. So if learning about language is something you're interested in, but feels really far removed from something you'd enjoy, I would definitely recommend Says Who. It's a very easy dip a toe in the water of linguistics without getting into straight up etymology. A book that absolutely makes my favorites so far for 2025 is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. I am so happy I got this book. I actually got to see her speak at the Midnight Release book launch in Denver, and Bury Our Bones is exactly as delivered. It is toxic lesbian vampires. They span multiple centuries. They connect and weave in stories in very interesting ways. And I just love how V.E. Schwab writes immortals. It's such a difficult concept to wrap your head around and to do it justice without A, seeming cheesy and without B, kind of having a magic solution to everything, and it was really well done. An unexpected book that made my favorites for the first half of 2025 is Jeremy Renner's memoir, My Next Breath. Now, I don't typically read celebrity memoirs. I like to read chef memoirs, but I don't typically read celebrity memoirs. But Jeremy Renner is someone who's always been like quietly interesting to me, just for a lot of different reasons. I'm a big Marvel person, so Hawkeye has always been a cool character. But his accident that a snowcat, 14,000 pound snowcat ran over him, was chronicled in the news a little bit, but this is his own take of his accident and his recovery. It's very inspiring. It's very emotionally riveting. Even though you know the outcome, spoiler alert, he lived to write the book. If you didn't know that, I'm very sorry. But the emotion he is able to bring back up for the reader is really strong. And it reminds you that life is really short and it just takes one fluke to potentially end it all. So it's a beautiful book. It's short, it's not arduous, and it's really all about the human spirit and what can be done if you have the right attitude in the right situation. I recently read The Comfort Book by Matt Haig, and this book is exactly what it's billed as. It's very comforting. The author, Matt Haig, has always been very open about his mental health journey and the things he is constantly dealing with, spectrum diagnoses, ADHD, depression, those type of things. He is very open about his experience with them. And the Comfort Book is really almost like a journal that he has created for himself to share with others, to remember that even at your lowest point, it's not over. And whether you're feeling feelings of depression or something more extreme, please call hotlines. Please call someone you can speak to, a professional if you have access to one. Um, but also, maybe check out this book if you're feeling low, if you're feeling like the world is against you, if you just feel not great. It's beautiful and it's uplifting and it's real. It's not platitudes. It's not, buck up and smile more and things like that. It's very real and it's very understanding of people who have gone through mental health struggles. So beautiful book, definitely recommend it. And it would make you a really lovely gift. A series that has made the list for the books in the first half of 2025 is the Inheritance Games series. I had heard about this. I tried reading it and couldn't really get into it a long time ago. And then one of my coworkers read it and blew through all 5 books and absolutely loved it and raved about it. So I was like, all right, I'll give it another shot. and I'm so glad I did. It was so much fun. It's a YA series. It's not fantasy, but it's kind of logic and riddles and puzzles. So there's all these twists and turns and misdirection. Fascinatingly done. I absolutely loved it. It's not a mystery, it's not a fantasy. It's it's just good fun, good mind game type stuff. I loved it. The characters are delightful. I technically still have one book to go at the time of filming, but I'm probably going to end up reading that really, really soon before this is published. And it's just so delightful, and it's YA, so it's great for all ages. It's super, super fun, and I would definitely put this on your TBR. What are some of your favorite books that you have read in the first half of 2025? Drop me a comment. I really want to know. I put everything on my TBR. I can't always promise when I'll get to it, but I do put it on my TBR when it's suggested by this community. So please let me know. If you liked this video or got a book that you're interested in reading out of it, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Please use the pinned comment or the link in the description below to sign up for the upcoming course, The Growth Library, ways you can shortcut your way to success without having to read all of those nonfiction books. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful day.